rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast, a show about America's truth, unhinged, unfiltered, raw. Your host, Mike Gardner.
Are there any objections to counting the certificate of vote of the state of Arizona that the teller has verified appears to be regular in form and authentic?
President, I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona write?
I rise for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is. An objection presented in writing and signed by both a representative and a senator complies with the law. Chapter 1 of Title 3 of the United States Code. The clerk will report the objection.
But it is nonetheless a reality for nearly half the country. I would note it is not just Republicans who believe that. 31% of independents agree with that statement. 17% of Democrats believe the election was rigged. Even if you do not share that conviction, it is the responsibility, I believe, of this office to acknowledge that is a profound threat to this country and to the legitimacy of any administrations that will come in the future. I want to take a moment to speak to my Democratic colleagues.
All right, folks, welcome to the very first episode of Season 2, the Season 2 premiere of the Patriot Angle Podcast. I'm your host, Mike. You just heard just a brief sound bite here into the show. Senator Ted Cruz, Republican of Texas, one of the last fewest conservative senators that we have in the Senate. And let me just say, I mean, folks, we're back to the same scenario, the same saga that, you know, was the election rigged? Was it fair? We should have never had mail-in ballots. We should have never had Dominion machines, the voting machines that were used to cast the mail-in ballots. We should have used voter ID. Folks, there should have, something should have been done. I totally agree. But was it done? No. No, some of the states, folks, they played these rules like hours before the damn election, made their own damn rules before the general election. I mean, as easy as like a few hours before the general election. Folks, what is going to happen when the Constitution of this great country, this great nation, cease to exist? We are not going to have our democracy. We're not going to have freedoms. We're not going to have liberties, folks. It's being stripped away. How much more proof does the American people need to see for them to understand this? How much more? Let me play another soundbite here more into the show. Maybe you'll understand more what's going on with this election as it's being orchestrated through the show here. Because, folks, this is serious. This is our democracy, our freedoms, our everyday of life. Literally, just melting away. But, you know, the liberals out there, they voted for this. They wanted this. They wanted mayhem. It seems like they wanted chaos in the streets. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Be clear, I am not arguing for setting aside the result of this election. All of us are faced with two choices, both of which are lousy. One choice is vote against the objection. And tens of millions of Americans will see a vote against the objection as a statement that voter fraud doesn't matter, isn't real, and shouldn't be taken seriously.
I totally agree. I totally agree with Senator Ted Cruz standing up for just about every American out there that voted for Donald J. Trump. A good 75 million of us that voted for Donald J. Trump. You know, I try my best. Do you know how hard it is to try my best before I come on here on the airways here, through the podcast here, on the Patriot Angle? I try my best to keep my cool, to keep my sanity at a level where it's not going to go crazy. But, you know, sometimes it's a little difficult. Thank you. We'll ping on that one. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. A ping. A ping on that one. A ping on everything. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? Just gotta have to take your time and maybe just, will you stop at the damn pings? I'm telling you, stop with the pings. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? You just have to put up with this rubbish. You got to put up with the rubbish. You got to put up with the bullshit. You got to put up with this crap every day. Be right back after these words, folks. Don't go anywhere. Hey, folks, this got to get to a new sponsor here on the show. Freewheel Farms. Anybody living in the Atlanta area, if you're looking for a farm, an urban farm, pretty cool one too in the city. Look no further to Freewheel Farms. I happen to live near this great little business here that's run by young farmers that know their stuff, folks. They know their stuff and they know what's healthy for you. Head over there to Freewheel Farms. You can even check them out on their Facebook, Freewheel Farms, or freewheelfarms.com. They have everything from organic vegetables to just about anything that you're looking for. Very, very good stuff. They know everything about farming. They know everything about organics. I happen to buy from them from time to time. And they're very, very well down-to-earth type of people. So if you're looking for a good farmer's market even too, head over there to Freewheel Farms in Atlanta, Georgia. Folks, this is a really, really good small business. And if anything, any time for supporting a small business, that's the company to support. And I support Freewheel Farms. So head over there to today and basically check them out.
The Constitution gives to Congress the responsibility this day to count the votes. The framers knew what they were doing when they gave responsibilities to Congress. We have a responsibility, and I would urge that we follow the precedent of 1877. The Electoral Count Act explicitly allows objections such as this one for votes that were not regularly given. And let me be clear, this objection is for the state of Arizona, but it is broader than that. It is an objection for all six of the contested
Let me just
states
stop it right there.
To have a credible,
stop it right there. Oh boy, did you just hear what Senator Ted Cruz just said on the Senate floor there? Did you just hear what Ted Cruz, and I'll say it again, what Ted Cruz just said as he's talking to his colleagues there in Washington, the old 1807 Electoral Count Act. Oh, what is that? What is that? Oh, let's lighten people's minds here. What is the Electoral Act? Well, the Electoral Act, as the senator was basically narrating to the American people and to his colleagues, okay, the Electoral Count Act of 1887, okay, I have to correct myself. I think I said 1807. Did I? Did it, Paul? I said 1807, right? Yes. By the way, Paul, thank you very much for coming back. It was wonderful doing the Patriot Brief bonus episodes, but the last two episodes has been hell. Thank you very much, buddy. You basically saved me. He's looking at me and laughing at me, folks. He's in the other side of the room, and there's like a glass partition here that I use sometimes here in the studio of the Patriot Angle. But let's see. The Electoral Count Act basically establishes procedures for counting electoral votes by Congress, okay, following a presidential election. Oh, well, how is this relevant of the last general election that we had last year in November of 2020? I'll explain. And I'm very, very appalled that Senator Cruz brought this old law that hasn't been used in, what, 150, 60 years, right? If my math is correct. Hasn't been used. What it also establishes is procedures for counting of electoral votes by Congress following a presidential election. The law was enacted 10 years after the disputed 1876 presidential election, in which several states submitted competing slates of electorals and a divided Congress, because, folks, our Congress was divided, kind of much of what's going on right now, where we're seeing the Congress and the Senate divided on both sides, both nasty and very, very bitter, okay, was unable to resolve the deadlock for weeks. Closed elections in 1880 and 1884 followed, right? And then it goes into this, and again raised the possibility that with no formula, excuse me, where's my words today? I need a glass of water. Paul, grab me a glass of water before I choke here and gag. I'm trying to read here the electoral count of 1887. I can't get the damn words out, and I think I need a water, a bottle of water. I'm not going to take a break, God willing. I'm gonna bring this forward here so my listeners can hear. Where were we? Close elections in 1880. I said that, right? Followed and raised the possibility. Right. There's where I left off there. The possibility that with no formerly, there we go. The words are coming out. Sorry, folks. Formally established counting procedure and place partitions in Congress, okay, might use the counting process to force a desired result. After years of discussion, Congress finally passed the act in 1887 and has followed the act's procedures since then. They have? Well, apparently they haven't used it in this last general election, because you just heard Senator Cruz say basically that 17% of Democrats thought the election was rigged. Independents. What did he use? 45% independents. We're assuming the election was rigged and fraud. Okay? Folks, like Senator Cruz says, we have to bring the Electoral Count Act of 1887. I'm so glad that we have conservatives, of what's left of them, that bring up these old laws that just even Congress and government leadership seems to forget or just don't know. It's great that we have laws that are protected in protection of crap that we have to deal with. Oh boy, I'm telling you, this crap is just steaming like a tea kettle overbrewing itself. Folks, what this will also do is, if the act to fix the meeting of electorals of president and vice president and to provide for a regulate and counting of the votes for president and vice president and the decisions of questions arising, assumptions, okay? Folks, this has to come back into play. This has to be coming back into play. Oh, and by the way, that was signed by good president there, Grover Cleveland, and on February 3rd of 1887. Old President Cleveland signed that into law. I'm glad that we have. I'm glad that we have laws here. Because, folks, if a state follows these safe harbor standards and the state's governor properly submits one of the state electoral votes, the act states that the final determination shall govern. Okay? The act thus regulates Congress to resolving only a narrow class of disputes, such as if a governor has certified two different slates of electorals, or if a state fails to certify its results under the Act's procedures. Well, did any of the states out there, including Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, okay, did any of those swing battleground states follow the safe harbor standards? I don't think so. I don't think that they followed these standards. Excuse me. Because the counting of the ballots under the act made the cover on the first week. Literally. During the first damn week, all of a sudden, the states just certified the damn election? Oh, Biden. Thank you, Paul, for the water. I'm steaming today because this is crazy. This is unprecedented times that we're living through. That we have to deal with crap like this. This is not the first time that we've seen these type of scenarios. Does everybody remember the 2000 presidential election? That was between Bush and Gore, right? Everybody was very confused and almost timid, right, during that whole election. There was a lot of misinformation. It was just everything. I mean, if anything, let's learn from that last election in 2000 with Bush and Gore. Oh boy. I mean, are we seeing a repeat? Are we seeing a repeat of what the hell is going on? I hear you. I I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen in the near future. I have no idea. But, you know, what can you do? What can you do? Life can go on. Life can go on. But if you think if anything has gone worse, listen to the tensions. Listen to the tensions in the House during more saga. More saga. If you think that the election has given you a headache, listen to more headaches, right? We had the Capitol Hill. I want to talk about this Capitol Hill riot, invasion, or whatever the hell this far left is calling it now. Oh, but that's wrong. That's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Well, let me correct myself. It might have been wrong for them to storm the Capitol the way they stormed, but do you blame them? Do you blame anybody for that matter? Yes, it was wrong because they're stepping on federal property. Okay? If they wanted to do something, they should have done it and practice their freedom of speech, okay? Their right to assembly in a public place, not federal government property. That was a little wrong. But what's wrong about the far left, folks, is that they want to make this wrong, okay? But when you go to talk about the riots last year with George Floyd and the civil unjust and the burning of churches and everything, oh, that's okay. That's okay. Listen to God. The tension rise in the House during a post-riot debate. Oh boy, you gotta hear this. Paul, can you play sound clip number 7, please?
Shout it out.
The gentleman is not in order. There'll be order in the House.
Madam Speaker, I came here tonight prepared to talk about the place I represent and how well the Democratic and Republican county officials ran our election. I wanted to point out that in my home county of Allegheny County, in the place they were counting the votes, there were 31 video cameras, 31 in the same place, just showing people counting votes, every single one of them on paper with representatives from both campaigns watching. I wanted to point out to all these great lovers and supporters of the Pennsylvania legislature that it was the Republican Pennsylvania legislature that passed a Republican bill that they all voted for and supported that set up the system under which we just ran the election, and that the reason the president lost was because he was not as popular as other Republicans in our state. He got fewer votes than all of them.
Wait, what? What? Stop it right there. I'll go back to it. Stop it right there. The only reason why he lost is because he didn't get enough votes. He didn't get enough votes for what? He didn't get enough votes for because he wasn't popular? Who is this nitwit? Who is this guy? It looks like sounds like he's from like Starbucks or something. He just made my coffee. Folks, where the hell is the intelligence in Washington? I mean, so this is a Republican, Connor Lamb, right? A Democrat from Pennsylvania, saying, I represent and how well the Democrat and Republican county went. Wait, let me say that again for all you people with correct grammar and literature. I represent and how well that doesn't even make sense, but okay, whatever. So you got this guy from this young representative, right? from Pennsylvania. Like I said, it looks like he just came out of a Starbucks or something. He's got his hair all nicely parted one way and everything else. Spitting out Jonder, just crap that just doesn't make sense. That's okay. That's okay. He's like the male version of AOC, but, you know, it's okay. You got to listen to what he says more. Slandering more of this president and the Republican Party. And in my personal opinion, slandering of what's going on here on the House floor. This is the people's house, right? According to Nancy Pelosi's words, this is the people's house. Shouldn't be speaking in that tone, but you got to hear. I mean, folks, this is Representative Connor Lamb, okay, speaking on the House floor. When shown here, I'm gonna play this here, this next soundbite, shown a fight that nearly broke out on the House floor between Representative Lamb and another Republican colleague in the House. Oh boy, you gotta listen to it. Sound number 7, please, Paul.
But you need to know that's not the end. It's not as if there's nothing we can do because of that. And if there was, I don't think this nation would have made it to almost 250 years.
What?
The fact is, Madam Speaker, the fact is that at the end of the day, people...
Gentleman will say his point of order.
Yes, ma'am. Point of order. The gentleman said that there were lies on this floor here today. Looking over this direction, I ask that those words be taken down. We may have a disagreement on matters, but...
Mr. Mann, it's not timely.
This side of the aisle lies.
No, the gentleman's hand was not timely. You didn't register an appropriate time. The gentleman will proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You didn't even allow him to speak, Nancy.
Madam Speaker, the fact is that at the end of the day...
What the hell is going on with this Congress?
Look, it's sad, but it's true.
I mean, the House. What is going on with government?
The gentleman will proceed.
It hurts. It hurts them. It hurts this country. It hurts all of us. But the fact is that the people have made this country work by not giving in. Go ahead, shout it out. Say
The gentleman is not in order. The gentleman will proceed. The gentleman will proceed.
One last thing to say, Madam Speaker, and I thank you for your patience. All people need to know, all they need to know tonight, Madam Speaker,
There'll be order in the House. There'll be order in the House. There'll be order in the House. The gentleman will clear this chamber. The gentleman will clear the chamber. The gentleman will proceed.
Disgusting. Disgusting. This is disgusting, folks. What you are seeing right now in modern age politics is a divided government between parties of Democrats and Republicans. Disgusting the way how this House of Representatives is representing the people. You had a Democrat on the House floor giving more time, of course, by Nancy Pelosi, right? Because that's her puppet. That's her puppet, and she's the puppet master. Giving this gentleman, this young representative from Pennsylvania, more time to elaborate and explain himself. But then again, when a Republican has an opinion or a view or a thought, he tries to speak. It's a rebuttal. That's what America's about. We're about rebuttals, but in a responsive, collective way. She throws him away and says the gentleman will clear the chamber. What is going on here? What is going on here? not only should the liars, right? The liars, that's the Nancy Pelosi machine, the Democrat Party, should be ashamed. They should be all held accountable. This party, folks, is so unhinged. The Democrats in the diapers must be changed often and for the same reason. Because every single time, folks, they get upset, they go, wah, wah, wah. So much for the facts. Don't care about your feelings. I mean, that's what it seems like, right? So much for the facts that they don't care about your feelings when you have an opinion or a view or a thought, because you're voicing your opinion as an American citizen. Folks, this is getting bad here in government. This is getting real bad here in government. And I don't know how much more that this country can take. I don't know how much more it can take.
O que acende a sua vontade de começar algo? Tem uma faísca em você que te chama para empreender, investir, dar novos rumos para sua vida. E para todos os seus começos, você pode contar com Santander Select. Um banco mais pessoal, mais próximo, mais humano. Um time de especialistas com olhar atento para cada momento da sua vida. Porque você sabe, só quem já deu muitos passos está pronto para continuar começando. Santander Select. Começa em você. Começa agora.
At police, appearing to try to hit them with absolutely anything they can find. All of this unfolding as the crowd is yelling and cheering, in fact, in support of these horrific actions. Joining me now, MSNBC terrorism contributor.
All right, turn it off. Folks, what you just heard is a sound clip here of I want to talk more about the Capitol Hill saga. I'm not going to talk about the election. We all know it was rigged. Folks. We all that. I don't think there's going to be an ending to it. I think it's going to be, things are going to get more worse than they are. Folks, the American people are not going to be silenced, and I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on right now with just about everything. For 3.5, almost 4 years, okay, and I could tell you what's been leading up to this, okay? It's been a long time in the making that this was going to happen. I've been seeing this for months. I've been seeing it for months that this was going to happen. Where people are just, they're going to get fed up. I mean, people are losing their jobs. They're frustrated. Okay. They're confused. They're mad. They're very bitter even with themselves, for that matter. Okay. And they're losing patience, folks. They're losing patience. They're losing patience with their government. I'm losing patience with my government, with my country, and I'm sure a lot of you of my listeners feel the same way. I mean, this is outraged of what's going on here. I mean, this is terrible. And now that you hear the Wicked Witch of the House, right? Nancy Pelosi. She said, I don't know. She wants to now invoke, or at least try to have Vice President Pence, because she knows that she can't do it. She needs Pence's, pretty much endorsement, so to speak. She wants him to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump in response of the Capitol Hill event. Yeah, she's blaming Trump, saying, "Oh, Trump influenced the Capitol Hill riot." Where were you, Nancy, last year when we had to abdire in this country, okay, for, what was it, 3, 4, 5 straight months of violence, civil unrest, and mayhem across all major inner cities of this country last year? Where were you, Nancy? Where were you during the Seattle attacks? Where were you when people decided to invade and overtake, or at least try to overrun, a Seattle district and literally kick police to the curb? Where were you, Nancy, on that one? Where were you, Nancy, when people were knocking down historic monuments? You know where you were? You were encouraging it. Oh, yeah, Thomas Jefferson wasn't a nice man, and, I don't think people, kind of remember what happened 100 years ago. Yeah, that was some of her words. This is the House Speaker of the House of Representatives talking like this. Yeah. Also, Nancy, where were you when Black Lives Matter were storming cities such as Cleveland, cities such as LA, cities such as Philadelphia, Atlanta? Where were you when they were causing mayhem by looting stores and taking whatever the hell they desired to take? Nowhere. You were nowhere. Nowhere to be found but in your mansion somewhere in California, eating your gelatos and your $1,000 ice cream. But I guess it wasn't a big deal, right? Now all of a sudden, it's a large big deal. Well, you know why it's a large big deal? Because it's Republican. It's that, oh, Donald Trump is a bad man and we don't like him and he should be removed from office. This was their plan from the moment he stepped into the Oval Office. They never liked him because he was an outsider businessman from New York City that had a plan, had a message, and guess what? It stuck to the American people in 2015, and people got what Trump was saying. They got fed up with big government. They got tired of high taxes, high gas prices, high unemployment rates, and they seen where Trump was going with his message. And guess what? Big government doesn't like that when an outsider steps in for once for the American people and actually works for the American people. Big government wants you to rely on them instead of you relying on yourself. We were never designed, folks, to live off the government. We don't work for the government. They work for us. Learn that. Because without the taxpayer, those rich, filthy politicians wouldn't have all the damn money in their pockets. That's a fact. You want to fact check something? Fact check that. Be right back after these words, guys.
Of your Spotify inbox. You know those frustrating times when you hear a great song, but you don't know who the artist is? Well, thanks to the good people at SoundHound, you can find out in seconds and then listen to the track on Spotify. Download the SoundHound app and you can whistle, hum, speak lyrics, whatever it takes for SoundHound to recognize the track. Then just tap play in Spotify to listen to your heart's content.
All right, folks, we're back here, back on the show here. I can't believe we're into 2021. And just when you think 2021, folks, is going to be a better year, well, you might want to hold the toast. You might want to, put the bottle of champagne away for another time, because it looks like 2021 is 2020's ugly cousin, right, so to speak. It's just, it's folks, as closer we're getting to this next transition of power of presidency with I guess now Harris and Biden and Harris, right? Well, did I say Harris and Biden? That's what it seems like, right? We all know that Joe is not capable of running this country. Needless to say, know where the hell he's at half the time. But as soon as as closer and closer as we get to this inauguration of the next transition of power, we're looking at an event now with this Capitol Hill event. A lot of American patriots, mainly conservative American patriots, which are pretty much the most, in my personal opinion. Now, this is opinion, folks. This is not a fact. It's not it's just an opinion. Okay, I think, folks, that the American conservative, right, Republican, whatever you want to call it, they have the most powerful voices in this country, and I can tell you why. Okay, you can compare a conservative with a liberal. Liberals are just dumbfounded. They're dumb. They're naive. They really don't know what they're talking about. Most of them were basically spoon-fed their entire life. A lot of them lack common sense, intelligence on some levels. Most of them they're not very successful people. So what happens with the most unsuccessful people, right? I mean, they tend to, commit crime. They live on the street. They don't have good paying jobs, most of them. And they just feed off the narratives, the negative narratives of mainstream media. Of a lot of these people, what we come to call them are millennial snowflakes because they fold under pressure. Are we seeing from even the far left media and the far left demagogues of Democrats fall under pressure? I think we are. I want to play a soundbite here. Speaking of falling under pressure. Soundbite of AOC. Yeah, she's back in the spotlight again. Oh, the bartender from Queens now is saying, and literally, it's like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon with this, with more of the Trump derangement syndrome. Oh yeah, AOC is now the next person saying the same rubbish, that Trump is a bad person and he's a clear and present danger of this country. Oh boy, soundbite number 10, please. Here we go.
For several reasons. One, of course, our main priority is to ensure the removal of Donald Trump as president of the United States. Every minute and every hour that he is in office represents a clear and present danger, not just to the United States Congress, but frankly to the country. But in addition to removal, we're also talking about complete barring of the president, or rather of Donald Trump, from running for office ever again. And in addition to that, the potential ability to prevent pardoning himself from those charges that he was impeached for.
And, all right, let me stop it right there. They want it, first of all, folks, there it is. There it is, clear in sight from the bartender from Queens. Okay? She wants to and her Democrat colleagues want to impeach this president from ever trying to rerun again as a president, because they all know he's still eligible to rerun as a president, because sadly he didn't win this election of his re-election bid. He didn't win it. We all know he didn't win it fair and square. They had to cheat for the basement dweller from Delaware, Biden, to win. They had to cheat. So they now want to impeach this president from rerunning again. Why? Why? Why don't they want him in office? Why don't they want him in office? Are they afraid that he's going to leak out some of their secrets, some of their corruption? I mean, we've been seeing it for 3.5 years. What's the matter? The ball doesn't swing on the same fence as your fence, huh? Oh boy, listen more of what AOC says here.
And ordered an attack on the United States Congress, would we say that that should not be prosecuted? Would we say that there should be absolutely no response to that? No. It is an act of insurrection. It's an act of hostility. And we must have accountability, because without it, it will happen again.
There's a insurrection, AOC? How about the insurrection last year when people were invading cities, looting cities, okay? Taking merchandise from stores that they did not buy. Insurrection? Really? Seriously? How about you talk about the insurrection that we seen last year when these punks of thugs of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, a domestic terror group in their own fashion, okay, destroyed national historic monuments, both on the federal and the public level, for people's enjoyment to view history. When they destroyed some of these statues, where was the insurrection then, AOC? How come you weren't talking about it, and you and Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all your Democrat friends there in Washington? How come it wasn't an important matter to you then? Because it didn't fit the narrative. Folks, there is more dividing in this country than there ever was. We are in the midst of a survival mode right now in this country. And God willing that the almighty God up there still has a message for the American people to destroy and get rid of this poison that is in America. The poison of this socialism agenda ordeal. Folks, this is disgusting of what's going on in this country. It's disgusting. Accountability? Even children are taught to be accountable for their actions. Even children at the age of 5 and 6 years old know common sense. Folks, there's no common sense in this country. And I'm telling you right now, in my closing, it's why chaos keeps on happening during these times. Civil unjust. There's no justice system in this country. The justice system is dead. People are going to do what they want to do if there is no message being brought over to the American people. People are fed up with government, mainly the radical left, because they're abandoning the people of this great country. Wake up, folks, and Smell the coffee. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and as always, we'll see you on the next one. If you missed any other shows and you're interested in listening to recent shows, you can also follow me on Facebook at the Patriot Angle Podcast. We should pop right up there. Also, we will be on YouTube in the coming weeks doing live video streams. That should be pretty cool. A lot of people prefer the video streams versus the audio streams. You know, whatever floats your boat. You know. Also, our good friends at Anchor Podcasting app over there. You can listen to all my podcasts, both recent and previous, okay? Current and previous podcasts on the Anchor app. Just download the Anchor app on both via Apple and Google Play Store. It's free, guys. You don't have to pay for this podcast. We don't ask you for a dime, okay? And also, too, if you want to basically voice your own opinions on the show, love to have you as a guest, or maybe just do some voice clips, of what you want to be heard on the show. Love to have you. With that being said, folks, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.